right, good morning, everyone. Welcome, TLFs, to the first session of the day. I cannot believe you are up and here and on camera, and if you're not, that's okay too. I am of the personal opinion that we should enjoy this time where we can be in our pajamas and with our pets, and that's fine. This is my assistant, Pickle. Some of you have met him. He likes to cause chaos in my presentations, so hopefully he'll remain asleep for this one, but we'll find out. I am Marissa Bannerman. I am the District Instructional Support Specialist for Secondary ELA, and I am joined by Jennifer Sears.
Hi.
Introduce yourself.
I am Jennifer Sears. I'm a teacher support specialist. I specifically work with elementary math. So a lot of the things you might see a dabble coming in with math. And I'm just very excited to see all of you here today. I'm going to go ahead and just drop that Hyperdoc again in the chat. Remember that Hyperdoc is going to guide our presentation today. So if you would go ahead and open that up. And then I also did link the schedule for the overall day in case you wanted to be able to look at that later.
All right. So before we get off and running, let me I know there wasn't a big description anywhere of this session. And what I wanted to tell you was what we're hoping to do today is to help you use the technology you're already using, like with Google Classroom and Docs and Forms and all of that, to solve problems that might be ongoing. So we don't want to dump a whole bunch of new stuff on you. We just want to help you streamline the things that you are already learning how to do. And so what we're going to do is we're going to share a lesson that's in a Hyperdoc format. And then I'm going to show you another version of the same lesson that's in a Google form. And we're going to talk about the advantages and disadvantages of each one. And then Jennifer is going to show you some ways to use Google Slides that maybe you haven't used yet, which is surprising. The amount of information out there about how to use all this stuff is just staggering, and it's really cool. So we're going to share that with you and some resources that you can use tomorrow. Just plug and play. And then at the end, we're going to have some problem-solving question time. So I hope that we can serve everyone this morning and that everybody can walk away with something that you can use immediately and that you feel like it's a good time well spent. Okay, let's drop the link one more time.
Really quick, I just want to make sure the other thing that we want to make sure we address for you today is sort of what problem does the technology solve? So anything that you're looking at today, whether we're using a Hyperdoc or Forms or Google Slides, be thinking about that technology and what could you use it for? What's the best purpose? What problem would it serve in your classroom to solve?
Yeah.
All right. And what did you need me to do one more time on the?
Yeah, drop the link in the chat one more time. Megan, are you in your classroom too? You guys are very brave. Oh my goodness. I'm staying here in my pod as long as I can. All right. I'm going to share my screen, but if you want to open the Hyperdoc and go along, that's fine too. And I see we have more visitors, which is amazing. Okay. Here I go. Entire screen. You get to see my whole screen. Yay! Maybe.
There you go.
Okay. All right. So this is our little Hyperdoc agenda. And if you could please do us a favor, we're incorporating our social emotional learning component today, where I'm going to ask you to check in with our Mr. Squirrel over here, right?
It looks like you might be frozen, Melissa. So, or Marissa, can you get, I don't know, I don't see your screen.
Okay. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. I'm just looking for the Hyperdoc.
All right. Let's see here.
There it goes.
Okay. So there's me, but do you see my screen?
Maybe you have to clear your window.
Can you see it now?
Not yet.
Okay. It says that I'm presenting to everyone.
Are you sharing a window, a tab?
I think I'm going to stop sharing and go back and reshare.
Oh, something popped up just briefly. I think it might have.
Okay, well, now I'm out. So hold on. Okay, presenting. Perhaps. Now it says I'm presenting to everyone. Okay, somebody pipe up when you can see my Mr. Squirrel here.
So far, I see a blank screen.
Oh, great. Okay.
You want me to try?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, let me take over.
Oh, it says I'm presenting, so let me stop again. Okay, there we go. Is this just your whole life? Present, stop, present, stop, present, stop. Yeah, okay.
Thank you guys for your patience. We will get to this.
I am sympathetic to your cause. It's okay. We have a backup plan. Everything is fine.
All right. Let's see. There we go. All right. Can you guys see that?
It's coming. There it is. Okay. So if you can go to our little check-in here, that is a Google form for social emotional learning. And this is our little, just, hey, how are you? Are we okay? What squirrel are you? So take a second. It'll only take a couple of seconds to do it. Oh, thank you. Yeah. We worked really hard on this squirrel thing. I just wanted to put that out there. Jen, while they're doing that, I'm going to try presenting again.
Okay.
So that I can show them the form stuff.
Okay.
Okay.
So you want to go ahead and just get out?
Yeah, so you stop, and then while they're filling out the form, we'll see if we can get it.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, present now. My entire screen.
Serenity now. That's what it sounds like.
Okay. Okay, it says I'm presenting to everyone. Is that true?
I see the chat and I see the little icons of everybody.
Okay, let's just give it a second then. Do. All right. It says I'm presenting. Is it a blank screen?
It's the chat and the you are presenting to everybody screen with all of us.
Okay, what about now? Can you see the form?
No.
Great. Okay.
You want to turn off your camera maybe, and that might help. I don't know how many tabs or.
I have 3 tabs open right now.
Marissa, just present an individual Chrome tab.
Okay, I shall try that. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. You guys are great techie. Now it's us all over again.
Yeah. A Chrome tab, is that what we're going with?
Yeah, I do the 3 buttons and I do like a Chrome tab or a window.
This one. Okay, how about now?
Now I see the squirrel check-in.
Yes.
Okay.
Success. Perfect.
All right.
Okay. So what I want to show you is the information that you can gather quickly, even if you can't share it quickly, and what happens when you do a form. So here's what it looks like when you're creating it. And I tried to make it easy for everyone to just tell me who you are and where you are and what's going on. And you can see who has responded. If you need to see who is the whose responses belong to whom, you can, but that's a different screen. But we have pie charts. I know that some of us have been trying to make pie charts about everything. I think it's easier in forms than it is in sheets. That's just my preference, but we can see where we all are. And then when you have a short answer like this, you can see everyone's responses. I live in leggings. Yeah, we're never having our leggings pants discussion ever again. I know that all of you high school teachers are really thrilled about that. So yeah, this is what I like about forms is you have everything in one place. And you can just do a quick check-in and then it stays forever. So if you need a contact point, then that's how you do it. Okay, so now I'm going to stop presenting my tab and I'm going to present a different tab, I think.
You got this.
Okay. A Chrome tab. All right. So I have an example of a hero's journey lesson that I am adapting for Springboard, or, you know, for a different school out of Springboard. And I wanted to show you what it could look like in 2 different areas. So you can either follow along with me or open the link yourself, whatever you would like. And the Hyperdoc version, I think, is good for students who need visual cues. It's good for if you have kids who have maybe middling internet, perhaps, and need to work asynchronously a lot, or if they need to work independently, or if they're absent or whatever. So I'm going to wait for this to load a second because I have a lot of images up here. So this is our asynchronous piece from the day before. They did a Google form with the quotation work, which you can check out later if you want to. We have our objectives, right? And this is our high yield strategy of everyone thinking about the objectives. And they can highlight everything that they need to know. And then it'll go to a different color, which hopefully you know. The comments appear when you are the owner. So if you make a copy of this, my comments will disappear.
Marissa, are you on the tab that you're showing this Hyperdoc on?
Well, I thought I was, but no, I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to try and share my whole screen again. Okay, you are presenting.
When you go to the other tab, it'll say share this screen instead. And
look, I see it. Ooh, thank you. Thank you. Haha. Did I do it?
Yes, we are seeing it.
Okay. So here's my Hyperdoc. You are the best class ever. Okay. So some of you have worked with docs and you know that when it's highlighted, that means there's a comment. When you make a copy of this document, all my comments will disappear. If you assign this document to students and every student gets their own copy, which I'm sure you've done by now, the students can make comments and then those comments will stay in the document when they turn it in. So if you want to use a Hyperdoc to annotate, that's a really good strategy for this particular format. Because the kids can comment in the margins and highlight and do everything they need to do. Okay, then I have my Greek and Latin roots, which all my English peeps will appreciate. I have my interact visual cue, and I like this because it reflects a communication agreement, right? Like let's raise our hand in the meet, either with our actual hand or with our nod app, which I love. And this tells the kids when it's okay to interject and whatnot, or they can fast forward and see where they would like to contribute. More vocab. Fun. This is a video about the hero's journey. And I like using it this way because they can just click on it. Everything you need is in the document. There's not a whole lot of skipping around. Whereas if you wanted to do something more guided, that's when you're going to use a form. And they can also do this by themselves if they have to. So everything in orange is a box where the students have to put something. So that's another visual cue about what they're going to do. So my imagination said that while I would screencast this video, the kids would have their document open, split screened or whatever, and they can do their notices and their wonders here. And then all the instruction is in this document. So those of you that are familiar with the hero's journey or whatever, this will look very familiar to you, I hope. And it just kind of keeps going like this. So I'm just going to keep scrolling. Close your eyes if you get dizzy.
And I think the real benefit to this, Marissa, is that they have everything all in one place.
Yes, everything's in one place. All the videos, all of the forms, all of the stuff they have to do is in one place.
Very similar to what we have sent you with your Hyperdoc agenda. Everything that we're going over is all contained within that agenda as well.
Yeah.
I am going to go ahead and plop an example of one of these for an elementary in there. So if you would like to kind of like see how it might look different in an elementary presentation, just sometimes there might be a little more visuals, a little more more interactive, different types of activities that might go in there. So I have dropped that in. So if you would like to see an example of that and what that could look like in this Hyperdoc.
You can, yeah. The other advantage of the Hyperdoc is that you can review all of the changes. So if you have kids who, like, if you need contact points, I think some schools are doing contact points for attendance. This can tell you when they interacted in the document and what they changed and what they did and how long it took them. And you can get some good information from there, especially if you have a class of people who works at significantly different rates. So that is the Hyperdoc. Does anyone have any pressing questions about this that I can answer right now before I show you the form?
I'm not seeing any questions in the chat or any hands raised. So
awesome. Okay, so I'm going to do the advantages and the disadvantages at the end altogether. Okay, so the next version of this, lesson B, is the form. Let's see if I can do the tab thing on the first try this time. Yay! Did it work?
Yes, it did work.
Hey, okay, thank you.
Glad you'll have to figure it out by the time that I get there.
Okay. So the form is a little bit different. So the form is if you want to be presenting the instruction. And then the form records, oh, look, my Facebook people showed up. Do you see this, Jen? I put this form on Facebook last night, and I asked my friends to fill it out.
Maybe you want to be looking at the responses. Right now, we still see the questions.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, but right now, look, you can see how many people have responded to it.
Oh, great. 43.
Yeah, so I'm looking at that going, oh, yesterday it was 2. Okay. So the form allows you to keep all of the information in one place, right? And I have a couple of different ways for the kids to interact. This is the objective thing, and they have to choose one from each column. It's just a little check in there. And this box, would you like to submit this form now? That is a point of like saving your work. It's a way to save your work. So if you say yes, which I'm not going to show you because it might mess up my window thing, but if you say yes, it'll say, do you want to submit the form and do you want to send a copy to yourself? And then you say yes, and then you can come back to the form later and finish it. And then the spreadsheet records all of that. So I've done that at certain checkpoints throughout the form, because one of the most frustrating things is when you filled out a whole form and then the internet goes out and you can't submit it or something. So if you can save it along the way, I know this is like a completely new concept to all of these children who never had to save their work in college and who never had to use a floppy disk. But if you encourage them to do this, then none of their work will be lost. So let me see if I can show the responses. Yay, look at this.
And that, I think we're going to show one of the benefits right now of doing it, which is the data. The data is great. It'll cut time in a lot of areas for
and it's immediate, right? So you can see it populate as the kids fill out the form. So this was the objectives thing. One of you was living dangerously. Here are the 3 things they wonder or like notice, right? One thing I like about forms is that, okay, only 3 people filled that out. I must not have made it required. Is that you can see everyone's responses in one place. So we have these examples of an ordinary world. Oh, those lazy bums, they skipped it, but that's okay because I can tell. But like it would say, what's an example of an ordinary world? So then you have your example, but you can see everybody else's examples also. And so it's not just one point connection with the schema. It's like, you know, you're filling up the whole pinball machine. That's what I tell the kids. And then you can scroll all the way down and see, okay, so here's the exit ticket, fist to 5. How many people understand what? Right? And then you can see which standards you would need to hit again, maybe the next day, to get a sense of that. Okay, and I'm going to move us along here. You know that I'm available to all of you over email and whatnot. So if you have something that you need elucidated or clarified or whatever, you can let me know. I'm going to stop sharing this tab, and I'm going to go to the advantages, hopefully, and disadvantages of sharing student docs and forms. It's not asking me if I wanted to share this tab yet.
You went completely out, so I think you have to present again.
Okay. Oh, look, I did. How strange. Okay. That's all right. A Chrome tab. I would like this tab, please. Yay or nay?
There you go.
Okay. So the advantages of the Hyperdoc are that everyone has everything in one place. If the internet goes out, you can come back to it later and do it offline. Students can easily check and see if they've done all the tasks, and they can add graphics or drawings or whatever, annotations in the comments to customize their own work. The disadvantages of this are, and maybe you've learned some of these things, they take forever to load in Classroom. They take forever. To grade something, you have to open each one individually, and that is a pain in the tuchus. It's also very easy to cheat if you're trying to do that, which is something that we don't have a lot of control over, but, you know, every little bit helps, I think. And the kids aren't creating their own organizational systems if you're doing it for them. So that's one set of disadvantages of using the Hyperdoc. With the form, students only have to go one place to record all of their answers. They can upload pictures and files as answers, and Jen has an example of that to share with you in the chat. It has real-time tracking of all the data and the answers, and you can see as you go who's getting what. And you can put those check-ins throughout the lesson in that form, and then you'll see. The teacher can give feedback to each student in one place instead of opening individual documents. There's an add-on for that called Flubaroo, which has not been approved yet by APS, but I've got EdTech on it, and hopefully it will be soon, because then you can just go through the forms and check off right and wrong or yes and no, and then it sends all of that feedback to the students at once. And the other thing that you can do is you can decide when the form is recording responses. So if you want kids to fill out the form as you go through class, you can open the form at the beginning and close it at the end. And then the kids will have to come to you to be let back into the form if they're having to do it later, or if they're trying not to do it, or whatever the case may be. All right. We're going to come back to this slide in just a minute. But if you have a question, you can write it on this Post-it note, and I will answer it either today or tomorrow. And then I'll show you how I do this. So like, if you wanted to say, how do I use the squirrels? You can type that in, and then I will make a slide and connect it to this Post-it note and answer your question. All right. I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to
go ahead and just get into the Hyperdoc again. Yeah. So you can be sharing, and then I can just be talking over.
Oh, okay.
If that works.
Sure.
You've got so much practice on it now, so.
I do. It's fine.
It'll save time for me.
I learned something new. I'm so excited. Okay.
Always learning, always learning. All right, so when you go back into the Hyperdoc, we're going to talk a little bit about Google Slides. And Google Slides is really good in the sense that you could have movable digital activities for the kids. I'll have an example of how they can do sort of an interactive drag and drop lesson. It also has like opportunities for students to collaborate. And I don't know if you've been in any of the other sessions where like you could have, you know, maybe you're looking at students being able to say, what do they wonder or what do they notice? And on that slide, they could be typing in their wonders and their notice if you share that slide deck with them and allow them to be able to edit. So you can see it in like real time. The other thing that's really nice is that you could have like choice boards. And choice boards might be, you know, for activities that could be synchronous or asynchronous. And the students are either, you know, going in to do that choice time during their synchronous instruction, or perhaps during their asynchronous instruction, maybe they had to do a tic-tac-toe, do 3 in a row of a particular thing on your choice board. The other thing that's really nice is that on Google Slides, you can assign them to any platform. So we have a lot of different templates. We're going to just go through a couple of different examples, and then we're going to give you the time to go and explore some of these other templates and resources, because we feel like, why should we reinvent the wheel? You know, there's plenty of stuff that's already out there, and we've given you a lot of sites where there are templates you can just pick up and use the next day. So Marissa, would you mind going into the Bitmoji math manipulatives, the very top one?
Yeah.
And so this was just something that was, I had found actually through Facebook. There's a Bitmoji craze for educators. You notice that it's going to ask you to make a copy of that. So you'll have to make a copy of that. That way it'll be in your drive, not in mine. And you can use it at any time. So this was just something that it was a really cool thing that you could share with your students if you're wanting them to practice with their math tools. When it pops up, it's like blinking. You'll notice that there's different manipulative tools that are there, and the kids can click on any of those manipulative tools and be able to, you know, go right into like a virtual manipulative screen. It could be like a rec and rec. It could be like counters. So anything, and I don't know if you can see it, Marissa, if you can press on any of those, like maybe if you want to do the base 10 blocks, it'll pop up a link, and then the kids would have access to be able to pull up those counters and drag and drop and use that manipulative right then and there. So it's linked already in there. It's virtual. Your kids can use it. You could assign that Google slide to them in Google Classroom or in Seesaw, and they'd be ready to go and able to use it right away. So that's one really cool advantage of being able to put anything on a slide, because the slides you can embed different links and have different things that might go to different directions for your students. All right. Ooh, isn't that cool?
Okay.
Right. So can you go back to the yes, the slide sign. Okay, so let me give you another example of the interactive math lesson that I had used, or I have been, you know, practicing and using a lot with different things. And again, it's going to ask you to make a copy when you get in there. I'm waiting for Marissa to hit over there.
I'm on it.
You're on it. So in this one, as she gets it getting ready to get loaded up, it's just frozen right now on my screen, so I'm not sure if I'll have to pull it up. Oh, okay. What it is it's It's a drag and drop activity I was using for a math module that we had created. And basically what it does is you could put different text boxes. You could have like apples or whatever it was the kids were counting. Maybe they were counting circles, maybe they were counting stars. You can use your Google Slides, your shapes tools or your line tools to be able to create these manipulatives for the students to be able to drag and drop. And so they could, it's still frozen, Marissa, so.
Oh. It's because you have so many pictures in this one, that's why. But it's okay, because they have the link.
Okay. But it does have, and I don't know if maybe it's just a different window that you have to share, but it's not.
Oh, here we go.
On there.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go. Okay.
Perfect. Okay. So you can see that like there's directions up there for the students to be able to use. They can move the apples to whichever one the equation matches to. There's even one, if you go down, Marissa, towards the end, that they can actually create their own. I think it's that one, number 6, perhaps, looks like it. So they could, type their fact in, and then the apples, if you take, there's more than one apple in there, they can start dragging and dropping and make their own sentence with their multiplication fact of 5. And it's telling the students, how to be able to do that. So this is one of the really cool features, I think, that they have in Google Slides, that you can be able to like assign them and do it.
Cool. Okay, so I'm going to head to the frequently asked questions slide, and you can explore some of these resources or check out some of the other things.
So what we have included within that Hyperdoc agenda is there are different templates for Hyperdocs that you could find in there. There's also some links to Google templates, Google slide templates that are already available. There's some folks on there that have lots of different activities that you could like adapt and use to any content area. I like this one that was called Flippity, and Flippity has like, it has sort of a interactive, there's lots of interactive Google Slides. There's a escape room that's on there that's really cool to kind of look at and find. There's gamified boards so that you can like make a game out of what you want your students to be able to be doing. There's also, activities that could go across content levels that are all over the place on there. So what we'd like you to do is for the next 10 minutes, actually, we want to give them 5 minutes, and then if they have any questions, we'll show them how to get back into that question, or you already did that.
I'm looking at the chat right now, and there are some questions in here that I just want to address real quick. So let's see. Monica, thank you. Next time, I will increase the size of my screen. Sorry, I couldn't tell that when you were asking me. Let's see. Can we have the link to the slide deck? It is linked in the Hyperdoc. Math Bitmojis
again, but I just did. I did that right after that. There it is.
The Math Bitmojis. I don't know how we have access and you don't, but I can find that out.
It should just ask them to make a copy, so they would have to make a copy so that it saves in their drive, not in mine.
Yeah,
so we clicked on it and it does say access denied, and it's asking us to request access.
Okay, so well, there we go. Let me fix that. So I can fix that right as we speak. Thank you for telling me that.
Jennifer, can you share it with the TLN hub?
I absolutely will.
Do that and it should work, I think. Andy, that was yours too. Hi, Desert Ridge. Is there a list of blocked apps and websites? I don't know, but I can find out because I have a person on the EdTech team. So I will put that on my list. To force copy it. Oh, somebody, thanks, Sarah. You change edit to copy and then it'll do it. It's great.
Absolutely. Yeah. Someone had asked how I keep the apples like fixed. That's a little trick. I learned, I actually watched a YouTube video on how to do that. But there is a way that when you start, you can create them and you can hit Control C and you copy as many as you did. I usually would copy somewhere closer to like 50. And then when you're ready to drag around it, like you'll click around all of the 50 and you hit a right click. So if you don't have a mouse on I have a Mac. So on a right click, it's my control and my click, not my command, but my control and click. And then what will come up is it'll ask to be able to align it. And I align it horizontally. And then I align it in the middle and then align it vertically and then in the middle, and it stays in one place, and then it's able to like move it around and use it to drag and drop. But I just typed in drag and drop on Google Slides for YouTube, and YouTube is a wonder. Showed me exactly how to do it.
Okay. If you put a question in the Post-it notes in this document, in this slideshow, I'm going to try and answer those soon. I have like 3 other sessions today, but hopefully I'll get to those in the near future.
And are there any other questions that are coming in, Marissa? Because I'm getting the Bitmoji one to share, and I'm pulling up the drag and drop one in there to share too, since it's asking them to make a copy.
Is a Hyperdoc just made in? Yep, just a doc, just a Google Doc. Oh, thank you. Yeah, everybody make copies, but surely we've learned that now, right? Like we've learned. Has anyone messed up a file at your school because you didn't make a copy? You don't have to confess, but I have definitely done that. Megan, let's do grammar. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So if you have a question that I can't answer in the chat, you can put it in the Post-it notes. How do you create the rules in Google Forms that take you to different places or questions? You do you know what? Let me answer that in depth later in a slide because it's easy, but I feel like if I just tried to explain it right now, it would be weird. Okay, I think I got all the questions in the chat.
I'm just adding the one for the drag and drop on there.
Okay. Jennifer, were you able to get everybody taken care of for the role?
I do believe I was. Let me
Do you have any extras? Do we have any extra people?
We did. We actually ended up with like 54 people. So
if you can go ahead and register on PowerSchool, like it should let you do it retroactively, but that would help us a lot.
I do just have somebody that came in with a phone number. So that's my only question. I don't know who that person is.
Oh, yeah. If that person could put your name. Oh, no, you're just dialing in from the phone. Okay. So yeah. Maybe just send me an email or register on PowerSchool and we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
This is our first time using PowerSchool with our trainings. And so we're all kind of learning how to do that right this second. In case you thought maybe we did not have sympathy for you here at the district, we do. Yeah, that's about all we have. And we have 3 minutes left if anyone wants to hang out before your next session. Thank you so much for being TLFs. I want to welcome all of the new TLFs, if we have any new TLFs in this session. I really hope that you will find the work that we do to be compelling and to be useful. And I hope that the TLFs who were TLFs last year can share that that's what happened. So we are very, very excited to be doing this work with you today. And I hope that everyone has a great day. Thank you for doing this virtually and for making the plans to leave your virtual classrooms or whatever you did. We're looking for some feedback about how to make that part of it easier. So any kind of feedback you have, please give it to us in the feedback form that you're going to fill out at the end of the day, or send it to us individually or whatever, where we want to have it no matter how it comes. So everybody have a great day. and reach out if you need anything, or if we can come to your school. And that's all I've got. Jennifer?
Hopefully I have fixed the one for the Hyperdoc for those ones that were trying to do the drag and drop. So, and if not, I'm going to just add it in there really quick on the chat. But if you guys have any questions in particular on how to do that, you're welcome to reach out to us. Also, you have that slide where you have questions, and we can add to that slide deck of the questions, of the answers to those questions that you have on the parking lot. But thank you so much. We appreciate you guys joining us, and you'll get ready to go to your next session.
I'll hang out for a minute if anyone wants to talk.
Yeah, I'm just double checking, making sure.
Thank you guys. Bye.
Bye.
I'm going to go ahead and stop recording so that, and then we'll have that hopefully populate in my.
There you go.
There we go.